This video in the Prepare for IT series is about hardware. We're going to look inside a computer, on the outside, an input and output, and also we're going to look at the sometimes confusing specifications we see when we're buying a computer. Inside a computer, well, we start off with the motherboard, which is a large circuit board, and that holds the memory, the RAM, and the central processing unit. If you want to know how the CPU works, look at the first video in the series on computers. So we have the slot for the CPU and the slot for the RAM sticks on the motherboard. So they're quite close together. On the motherboard, the CPU gets quite hot, so it's covered by a heat sink, and that gets hot, and that's covered by a fan. The whole casing will also have a fan. The motherboard has expansion slots where expansion cards will fit onto and connect to the motherboard. Here they are. Cards include video cards and network cards and other types of cards. Other areas inside your computer include the power supply. It gets power from your standard AC electricity and converts it to a lower voltage DC, which allows power to the parts inside the computer. We have bays. These are areas where you can put storage in, such as your CD and DVD drive, and also your hard drive. Your hard drive will be either a hard disk drive that uses a magnetic plateau, a circular disk to store the information, and an arm that moves to read it, or it could be a solid disk drive that doesn't have any moving parts, so it's more durable but is more expensive. How is it all connected? Well, we have cables for data as well as power. Originally we used these IDE cables to connect the motherboard and the hard drive, although now you're more likely to be using a SATA connection. What else is on the motherboard? There's a chipset that controls the communications between the processor and the other devices. The battery that stores the information that you need to keep when you turn your computer off, such as the BIOS that stores the settings. And now we move on to the input and output. Input devices takes in input from the user as data instructions and turns it into something the computer can read. So we have many different types of input devices. Start off with the obvious keyboard. User presses a key, this breaks a current. The processor calculates where this happens and sends that data to the computer. We have mice, which a mouse moves around on a ball, and this moves rollers inside. They determine the movement up or down, left or right, and these move a shaft that breaks a signal seen by an infrared sensor, and that is turned into binary. Other input devices, we have touchpads and tablets, we have pens and stylus for input, we have audio input using microphones, and video input using cameras. Biometrics, these use different parts of the body to identify the user. Other input devices, we have scanners, barcode readers, different types of scanners that use recognition, either OCR or OMR for character recognition and mark recognition, RFID tags, magnetic strip readers. Output devices take the data from the computer and put it into a form that's understandable by us, humans. The output that we're used to is a screen. We can have the monitor or phone screen or even an e-reader. The quality of the screen is measured in resolution, dots per inch, and we have color depth, number of bits stored in the pixel, and refresh rate, how many times the computer refreshes itself every second. Nowadays we need better graphics, especially if you're a gamer, and this is achieved using video card, graphics card. Nowadays we have graphics card with a GPU, a processor on the card. Printers normally use either inkjet or laser printers, and if you want high quality graphics you may use a plotter. Audio output, we use speakers, and headsets are an example where those speakers are used for audio output. There are many other different types of outputs. We see these in wearable technologies such as this watch. How we interact with a computer and health concerns is ergonomics. So we have concerns such as back and neck pain, eye strain, RSI, CVS, computer vision syndrome. So ergonomics, the study of how to use computer equipment safely, efficiently and comfortably. Buying a computer. There are a lot of details, so what do they all mean? So let's have a look at these specifications. There's quite a lot. Let's go through each one of them. So the first one we're looking at is operating system. So this is the software that manages your device. Now move on to hardware. We have the CPU, which is the processor we've discussed before, which consists of the ALU and a control unit. The graphics, we mentioned before about the graphics card, especially used for gaming. The memory will be our RAM, and that is temporary and it's lost. Although it's stored, this is lost when the computer turns off, so it's classed as primary storage. Mentioned before, our power supply converts AC to DC. Storage, we have our hard drive, again HDD or SSD. That's called secondary storage. If our computer turns off, then this storage remains, so it's more permanent and non-volatile. A DVD or CD drive called an optical drive uses optical laser to read and write to the disks. We have a network card that allows us to use the internet. Input and output, we have different other devices. We have USB ports, and we can attach microphones and speakers like in headsets, different card readers, even internet cards. So we have these ports that allow us to connect different input and output devices. As well as that, we can use our expansion slots for different cards, such as graphic cards and network cards. Dimensions refers to the whole system unit, which is the whole casing that contains all the components inside. Finally, accessories would be things like the power lead, keyboard and mouse, the cable that connects your computer to a monitor is a VGA cable, and laptops, for example, may come with a docking stand. Okay, that's our hardware video. So good luck in your preparations. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Bye for now.